have been asked about these 8 Iranian nationals that were arrested all over the country on Saturday in what you have to say was a pretty impressive police operation. We learned just now, actually, just in the last couple of hours, that these Iranians were plotting to attack the Israeli embassy here. That attack has obviously been foiled.
Iran just denied it, and after British counterterrorism police backed by British SAS arrested 7 Iranian nationals in connection to a foiled terror plot targeting the Israeli embassy, from what we just found out in London, Tehran's foreign minister is now claiming it's all a misunderstanding. They say they're ready to cooperate, and that maybe this was a false flag by third parties trying to derail diplomacy. Bemet? Really? Because according to UK intel, these arrests happened hours before the plot was set to go live. This wasn't some theory. This was operational terrorism in the planning. And the denials coming out of Tehran are exactly what you'd expect from a regime that builds its terror infrastructure with built-in plausible deniability. So less than 24 hours after I just did an episode on this very development, British media now confirmed that Iranian nationals were arrested for plotting to attack the Israeli embassy in London. And Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi responded publicly, and he claimed Iran had no involvement. Chikar mikorni? Chie? And that Tehran wasn't notified through official diplomatic channels, and that Iran stands ready to help clarify what really happened. And then, Agia Sivuvim, and then came the spin. Araghchi suggested this entire plot may have been orchestrated. This is my favorite stuff. May have been orchestrated by third parties looking to sabotage Iran-UK relations. He hinted at a history of false flag operations and warned of efforts to derail diplomacy. Translation: we got caught. Iran, you got caught. And now you're blaming who knows and blaming the West. But here's what Iran can't explain away. 7 of their citizens were arrested across multiple cities in Britain just hours before an Israeli diplomatic facility was allegedly about to be hit. And that's not spin, Baba Jun. I'm sorry, you can't spin that one. That's hard intelligence, and the British moved fast. And they moved professionally, and we salute them. They moved for a reason. So what actually happened? Let's talk about the facts on the ground. The UK's counterterrorism raids unfolded over a weekend. 8 total suspects were arrested, 7 of them Iranian nationals. And the operation spanned Swindon, West London, Stockport, Rochdale, and Manchester. And in Rochdale, 30 heavily armed counter-terror officers backed by Britain's famed Special Air Service out of Hereford swarmed a home. 1 man was pulled out shirtless at gunpoint, and in Swindon, another was arrested in broad daylight on a city street. And according to Britain's Telegraph, the plot was hours away from being carried out. And the Daily Mail cited sources calling it a major attack that posed an imminent threat to human life. Early speculation suggested a possible synagogue, which is what I spoke to as the target on the previous episode I covered. But British intelligence now confirms the real target was the Israeli embassy in London. So let that sink in. A planned embassy attack on UK soil. Not the first time. Remember the old embassy back in the 80s by Iranian nationals, stopped in the last minute. So I want to talk about how the IRGC, Iran's IRGC, builds this deniable plausibility terror infrastructure. And let's break this down. Let's talk professionals here. You ever wonder why I built this show? Because after October 7th, I watched the media lie. I watch people justify terror, and I watch the world turn its back on the truth. So I picked up this mic and I turned it into a weapon and this studio into my battle room. This isn't just a podcast. It's a counterterrorism mission. But I'm not backed by a network. There's no corporate sponsors. There's no PR team. This show runs on you. And if the truth matters to you, and if you've ever said, finally, someone standing up and said it, then help me keep it going. You can donate directly, or you can pick up my deep concealment holster, same one I trained Keanu Reeves on for John Wick, runs below the waistband, never gonna fall off you in lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Or you can grab a 3-pack of the Aaron Cohen famous Merkava coffee, strong enough to fuel counterterrorism. Or you can grab a signed copy of my best-selling memoir, Brotherhood of Warriors, The Story Behind the Fight. My memoir is the first American to serve in Israel's top special operations counter-terror unit. Every dollar pushes the mission forward. Click the link below to support the show, because never again means now. Very similarly to other intelligence agencies, except they have a bit of their own flavor, a little bit of their own tone. They don't send uniformed officers with official orders. They use cutouts like everybody else, people with very clean records, deep covers, and just enough distance from the regime to give Tehran room to say, nah, we don't know them. They recruit through religious networks, Shiite mosques and cultural centers. That's what's unique to the IRGC. And student organizations in Europe and in North America. And they target Iranian nationals abroad, especially those with weak immigration status or family members still in Iran. And I'll explain how that works. They promise protection, or they threaten relatives, or they offer ideology. And then they train them in tradecraft, how to surveil a target, how to receive encrypted instructions via those cell phones or old school encryption, and how to disappear after the job is done. It's terrorism run like a covert intelligence operation. It's getting more sophisticated. And this isn't new. 2012, Iran used operatives in India and in Georgia to bomb Israeli diplomatic targets. They've also done the same in Argentina, Bulgaria, and Cyprus. All the same blueprint. No uniforms, no signatures, no fingerprints. Very spycraft in signature, except with that terrorism sprinkled in. And that's what makes 7 Iranian nationals arrested in London so significant, in my opinion. They weren't just sympathizers. These were assets, quiet soldiers in a proxy war Tehran can deny with a single tweet. And if the UK counter-terror teams hadn't moved in when they did, Iran would have scored a major propaganda win, because it's a big part of their operations. A successful embassy hit on British soil by agents they could claim, Namichai, we've never heard of them. And that's not random terrorism. That is state-sanctioned covert warfare. So here's the warning. This one was in London. Next time it could be DC. So now the question is, how long before one of these plots actually succeeds? If Iran is willing to hit an Israeli embassy in London, what makes you think they're not going to try it in Paris, Berlin, or even Washington, D.C.? We're not dealing with lone wolves anymore here. We're dealing with a regime that has turned terrorism into literally an export industry. They're running sleeper cells across the West, and now we have proof. 8 of them just arrested. And if you keep letting them hide behind the, no, we don't know, or we didn't know, then one of these cells is going to slip through, and the price will be blood. And so it's not about diplomacy. It's about justice with this particular one here. And it's about protecting power and sending a message to every Jewish, Israeli, and Western target abroad. You're not safe, not even here. So I want to close it out with this. Iran says it wasn't them, but 7 of their citizens were arrested in 5 different UK cities hours before the Israeli embassy was allegedly going to be hit. And that's not a coincidence. That is coordinated. And if the Western governments don't start treating Iran's intelligence and terror wings as one in the same, this won't be the last embassy plot we talk about. I will come back to this one. I told you I would, and I have. I want to thank you guys for watching. It's fascinating stuff. Iran moves and works like a proper Western intel agency, except the goal, terror. As always, like, share, subscribe every episode, because the IRGC's war is here, and I can tell you they're not even close to being done. Iran is playing the long game. I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, hit the link down in the description to support. Grab a holster, grab some Merkava coffee, donate directly to the show. Helps keep the lights on in the studio so I can continue to combat anti-Israel misinformation. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching The Aaron Cohen Show, and I will catch you guys on the next one.